Our parents and grandparents used it. Its smell is one of the most familiar from childhood. It comes in rubs, oils, and inhalers. It's camphor, the perfect treatment for a nasty cold. However, as Lynn Herzeg reports, there's just one tiny little problem. You see, for kids, camphor can be a deadly poison.
John Brown's baby had a cold upon his chest. John Brown's baby had a cold upon his chest. John Brown's baby had a cold upon his chest, and he rubbed it with camphorated oil.
Throughout the ages, throughout the world, camphor has been a trusty remedy. You may remember your mother rubbing on camphorated ointment or oil to warm your chest.
Tickles.
Maybe dabbing some under your nose so that its strong smell would clear your congestion.
Well, I remember camphor. I always have fond memories. Those little white chunks that we'd split in half, and we put them in a little pouch that my mother would make, and attach them to our undershirts, a T-shirt, or to our pillowcases. Oh, it would smell just divine, gorgeous. By having that on us, just like the garlic would chase the vampires, the camphor would do the same with colds and flus and, I don't know, tuberculosis.
Pierre Boulet doesn't really believe that anymore, but he still finds camphor products helpful when he gets a cold or headache.
You feel the heat. You feel soothing heat.
Not everyone, though, has such a fondness for camphor.
What we typically see in a large hospital like at Sick Kids is kids coming with very severe and serious life-threatening poisoning from camphor.
In fact, camphor is one of the most poisonous substances around. In minutes, it can irritate and overstimulate your brain to the point of causing seizures and eventually even respiratory failure. And the smaller you are, the deadlier it can be. Dr. Gideon Corin has published medical articles about the dangers of camphor.
The one case that showed me how difficult it is to have a compound like this on the market is the mom who left home to do something and gave instructions to dad to treat the cold and cough of this child. And guess what? Dad thought that it's a cold cough remedy. He gave it with a teaspoon rather than rub it into the muscles of the child. And of course, luckily enough, he then realized what happened and the child was rescued.
Doctors have detailed more than 130 cases of severe camphor poisoning in the medical journals. In Canada, about 10 people a year suffer life-threatening brain seizures caused by camphor. Most are children. And in British Columbia, one child died after drinking a capful of camphorated oil left on the dresser, waiting to be poured into a vaporizer. In most cases, though, they do survive the ordeal and recover. Camphor can also be poisonous when inhaled or absorbed through the skin. In one case, a toddler crawled through camphor that had spilled. The seizures lasted 2 days. But the classic scenario is this. Someone swallows a spoonful of camphorated oil, confusing it with castor oil, which is safe to swallow. That ongoing confusion is why in 1983, the United States banned all products containing more than 11% camphor. That made camphorated oil, which contains 20% camphor, illegal. It's illegal in Britain too, but in Canada, there's no restriction on camphor content. So in Canada, you can still buy inhalers containing 41% camphor and balms containing 25% camphor. And you can still find camphorated oil right next to castor oil in identical packaging.
So you have to realize that you cannot remove an effective product away from people who can use it effectively and properly, because some people will misuse it.
Health Canada says the medical benefits of camphor far outweigh the risks. In fact, its committee of experts concluded that studies show camphor rubbed on the chest or put in a hot steam vaporizer is safe and effective for relieving cough. Dr. Corin says that's true for adults.
There are no studies in children to show that it does any good to shorten the time that the child have the upper respiratory tract infection, the flu-like disease. None whatsoever. Now, if on top of it this drug can kill the child, indeed by an error, but still it happens, then of course the equation tilts even much more. And for me, it's a drug that should not be on the market.
You can still get camphorated oil here. It's illegal in the States, it's illegal in the UK. Why isn't it illegal in Canada?
Well, it's not illegal because it's still an effective product, mainly for people with arthritis. So that's the reason why we cannot remove it totally from use.
But that reason isn't based on scientific fact. Rubbing camphorated oil on arthritic joints may feel good, but it's not a recognized medical treatment. Still, Health Canada isn't looking at limits on camphor or at requiring child-proof packaging. It says this compulsory warning is enough. You're saying that, yet we have these small warnings that people obviously miss if the poisonings are still occurring. We don't have the child-proof caps. We don't have a big skull and crossbones staring at you in the face, so you know darn well not to leave this out around your kids.
But what we're trying to do is to get consumers to treat all medication the same, to keep them all out of reach of children.
The camphor oil is way up high so that so the kid cannot use it or reach it. But I mean, you know, yeah, I'm glad to know. I'm glad you told me. Thank you very much. But it'll just stay as high as it is, and as long as it's available, personally, I will keep on sure. Oh yeah.
Camphor is very much ingrained and part of this culture in this country, and it will take time. People don't like that things they believed work or smell like strong medicines. Suddenly, something you believed and people come and tell you it doesn't work. It's like our best teams, you know, not doing well in sport. So we don't like it. It's against our psyche. But evidence-based means look at it without sentiments.
Quand j'avais ton âge, grand-maman faisait ça.
Yet sentiment is what preserves this family tradition.
Pour sentir. Regarde. Ça sent bon? Oui.
For the Health Show, I'm Lynn Herzeg.